I've been thinking about making this very small RC airplane to be able to fly inside the house. We'll see if that's possible in a second, but the main idea is to build it very small and lightweight, and we'll need some very micro electronic components like the micro servos, the receiver and all of that. But the main concern for me is going to be the motor. What motor I'm going to use, what's the size of the propeller and all of that. I want to make one of these 3D airplanes that are very highly maneuverable, and they have large control surfaces so it can do the torque roll and stuff, and now those are made to fly indoors and do a lot of crazy maneuvers. I don't have a lot of space, but the main goal is to make something that will be able to fly inside the house at least for, I don't know, 5 seconds or so. So let's start building it. Here's the material I'm going to be using is XPS foam, and I bought a lot of it. The only thing that I don't like is the color of it, but that's okay. I designed a simple template to cut out from the foam. This foam is very lightweight, and this is the first time I'm working with XPS foam, but it needs to be treated well because it's also a little bit brittle. I'm going to make very large control surfaces, and that applies to ailerons, rudder and elevator. And I'm going to attach the control surfaces using just clear tape, and that will act as the hinges for every control surface. And then I'm going to glue the control horns that I made out of some plastic. And by the way, I'm using the glue called UHU Pore because that's perfect for foam. I took this part from an old end-shaped drone, and it is perfect for this project because it includes everything we need. I need to solder compatible connectors to the servos that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use these connectors from an old servo that is really bad, and that would work just fine. The motor and propeller will fit just like this in the front of the airplane, which is perfect. And this is the micro receiver that I'm going to use. It has 4 channels, and we can also connect a brushed motor at the output. That will save a lot of weight and space because we don't have to connect many other components. And spoiler alert, I won't be able to use this setup. Yeah, sadly. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and let's keep doing this project. This servo is bigger than the rest because it has to control 2 ailerons, and these are very large, so I prefer to use this one that has more torque than the others. To keep things simple, I'm using very tiny carbon fiber push rods, and then I'm using some copper wire to join the servo arm and the control horn. The copper wire is wrapped around the push rod, and then with a drop of CA I secure it in place. And our ailerons are working. And we also have a little problem. I don't know what's happening, but it seems to be an interference, and I don't know how to deal with it. I checked the mixing in the radio and it was okay, and the servo was connected to the right channel. Moreover, the servo connector desoldered from the board. And then I tried to fix it, and after that, when I tested the receiver again, it wasn't working at all. So I started getting some parts from an old helicopter that uses a brushless motor that supports just 1S batteries, and it works fine, but when I put a propeller in it, it wasn't working as expected. So here we are, a couple of days later, still working on this. The main thing is already finished, but I still need to figure out the battery that I'm going to use. But so many problems happened during the build of this airplane. This mini micro receiver for 1S batteries and 1S motors just got burned while I was resoldering one of the connectors. So I don't know what happened. Still turns on, but it's not working. I don't know. And this was the main option. This is a brushless motor. I'm going to use this micro ESC, which is opto, so I need to use a buck converter to step down the voltage from the 2S battery that I need, the minimum, and power the receiver and servos with 5 volts. So this motor is very powerful, but it's also heavier, a lot heavier than this one, a little bit more. The receiver plus ESC plus buck converter, it's a lot more weight than I expected. These batteries are really heavy for this frame, so I don't know, it's not something that I will do. Look at that. It's very flimsy and it's not gonna work, so this is my hope. The good part about it is that the motor is very powerful, so it can lift more weight. At this point, I'm pretty certain that this project is going to be a failure. It deviated a lot from the main idea that was to keep the airplane very simple and lightweight. Then I had to use different electronics and now it's a monster. I'm not gonna be able to fly outside because it's a storm going on, it's too windy, and I doubt that I will be able to fly this inside my house. And the last thing I need to do is to create a very lightweight 2S battery, and for that I'm going to use 2 1-cell batteries, and I'm going to create a light harness to connect them in series and create that battery. Here I am in my living room, and here is the perfect place to test this project. And if it doesn't work, maybe it's because I'm a really bad pilot or because the project was actually very bad. But it won't be a total waste of time because I'll learn a few things, Now, maybe in the next version I'll make it bigger for this kind of electronics and see what happens. But now is the time of the truth. Okay, Yeah, not good. It's breaking. And this video cannot be more embarrassing than this. Whoa. Now this bothers me a lot, so I wanted to build another design with microelectronics. I still have a brushed ESC that can work with this receiver, and then I did the connections, cut the whole thing and put everything together, and here we have it. This is the second version of this project. Well, not of this airplane, the airplane that I was building before. You know what I mean. It's just a different airplane, different design. Let's test it. The wind was still there, but it was a lot calmer than the day before, so I could fly it, but as you can see, it's struggling a lot because it's a very lightweight airplane. Well, at least I can demonstrate that I'm not a total failure building airplanes, and they're just not capable of flying inside the house. Also, I've done micro RC airplanes before, you can check those videos in the description below. And in this video I just wanted to test this new material, the XPS foam, and it's the first time that I'm working with it, and it's great. It's not better than the foam board, but it's just a little bit different. If you want to see more videos like this without annoying advertising, just go to odyssey.com or library.tv, where we have our channel there, and it's an open source community, so you can check it out there. And also consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next project.